This is IGN. This Star Wars flavored expansion is cringy and light on content, but what's there works surprisingly well. This is your IGN review of Destiny 2 Renegades by Travis Northrop. Destiny has always been the we've got Star Wars at home looter shooter, and with Destiny 2 Renegades, Bungie has decided to lean into that directly with a crossover expansion. Weirdly enough, that decision has worked out for the most part. Renegades doesn't solve many of Destiny 2's long-standing issues, including the fact that it's been awkwardly spinning its wheels for over a year now, reminiscent of the MCU post-Endgame, but embracing the cheesiness and the over-the-top drama of Star Wars is, at the very least, a surprisingly nice change of pace for what has otherwise become quite a predictable universe. Sure, the story is as corny and derivative as can be, and the new activity you're encouraged to grind repeatedly starts to feel thin before that tale even concludes. But the few new mechanics, vehicles, and weapon types we do get are interesting enough, and the endgame activity is well worth setting aside a few hours to run through. If you are waiting for a game-changing expansion to warrant diving back into Destiny 2, this isn't it. But it's not the worst way to pass your time if you got a hankering for some looter-shooter goodness or just love Star Wars. Renegades does go out of its way to include every little Star Wars reference to a degree that can feel a bit forced, a crutch that's continuously leaned upon in lieu of original ideas. For example, in the very first mission alone, you'll find yourself trapped in a garbage compactor, rescuing someone from off-brand carbon freezing and making a jump to light speed while a brooding, laser sword-wielding masked villain angrily watches you escape his grasp. It's extremely on-the-nose stuff, and I was just as likely to experience a full-body cringe as I was to smile about it. But the complete screw-it energy at play here, as it full-throatedly embraces all the corniness and drama for which Star Wars is known, does have a certain kind of refreshing charm that's at least a distinct direction for Destiny 2. I've been complaining about this game feeling stale for at least 5 years now, so I've got to give Bungie a bit of credit for trying something new here. Sadly, the neat Star Wars-inspired story is weighed down by quite a bit of added fat that presumably is there in hopes you won't notice how short Renegades would be without it. In between the precious few story missions, you'll be sent off to run the new Lawless Frontier activity, which drip feeds little bits of info before the next real mission actually moves the plot forward. Many of the non-filler quests use the same maps as the Lawless Frontier as well, but they're at least filled with more unique stuff to do, like one quest, where you blow up what looks an awful lot like Jabba's sail barge in front of what looks an awful lot like the Sarlacc Pit, also known as the Great Pit of Carkoon. To its credit, it does introduce some interesting characters. The whole thing wraps up with a pretty satisfying ending, too, despite doing very little to move the actual overarching story in Destiny 2 forward at all. Once you've completed the brief story and run enough Lawless Frontier to be sick of it, the final hurdle is the raid-light activity called Equilibrium. It's the endgame finale filled with challenging mechanics and beautiful set pieces you'd expect, and awards some absolutely awesome loot that I won't spoil here. These so-called dungeons are some of Destiny 2's best content, and Equilibrium is certainly no exception, with the Star Wars flair adding a much-needed change in style and tone. The bosses, which include a dual saber-wielding ninja badass, are memorable and fun to figure out, and the enemy-dense areas and platforming sections were a joy to explore. It's worth noting that the entire thing is pretty short, and can be comfortably beaten in under 2 hours without much issue. It felt a lot easier than some of the previous dungeon activities, but I don't have many complaints overall. It was time well spent, and I'm likely to play it again with friends in pursuit of the unique loot. To my surprise, Destiny 2 Renegades works a lot better than I thought a Star Wars crossover would, offering a lighthearted and often corny story, an extraction-inspired mode with some neat ideas, and an endgame dungeon that lives up to Destiny's strong track record. The main thing holding it back is that there just isn't much to it. With 3 maps you'll see a whole lot of while running Lawless Frontier, a short story that's been padded out by filler, and a dungeon that's far faster to complete than usual. Some new weapons, especially the Praxic Blade lightsabers, vehicles like the Behemoth Walkers, and renegade abilities that let you call in airstrikes on your adversaries go a long way to mix up this overly familiar sandbox. It's definitely a breath of fresh air for Destiny 2 overall. It's just a bit of a shallow breath. Destiny 2 Renegades' IGN score? 6 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on Destiny 2 Renegades, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.